What is happening, everybody? I hope you're all having a wonderful day, and welcome on back to Mass Effect. So last episode, we took care of the Zeus Hope colony's requirements, and we started heading on up this sky bridge. We got mysterious radio chatter here, and we found this little cave full of survivors, so let's see what's going on here. It looks like these are ExoGeni Corporation. You'll note how they're not down there helping the colonists defend themselves against the Geth, even though they're heavily armed.
Get back, Juliana. Who are you? What do you want?
This pencil pusher here is waving around a pistol.
Commander Shepard, I'm here to remove your Geth problem.
You see? You worry too much.
And you trust too easily, Juliana.
I'm just glad to see a friendly face. I thought we were the only humans left on this planet.
Fidan and some of the members of Zeus Hope are still alive.
I thought you said they were all dead.
Nice, real class.
All dead.
They're surviving despite everything the Geth have done to them.
We know what that's like. Those damn synthetics are relentless.
So he told all these people up here that those colonists were all dead so that they wouldn't try and go to evac them or assist them. That's exactly why they did that. He wanted to keep them separate and hide in his little room here with his security staff. Already got a nice taste of Jong's personality.
I'll do whatever I can to keep them away from you. But I need some information.
What kind of information?
Ignore him. The Geth are up in the ExoGeni headquarters, just a bit further along the Skyway.
Those headquarters are private property, soldier. Remove the Geth and nothing else.
I don't work for you, XO5.
I'm not interested in your company's secrets.
Commander, before you go, my daughter, Lizbeth, she's missing.
They shouldn't waste time poking around. We could do a proper accounting of our casualties.
Waste
after the Geth
time.
are gone.
That's my daughter you're talking about. She's still alive. I know it.
The fact that she's asking us to just check while we're there to see if her daughter's still alive, and this asshole says you have no time to waste time poking around. I already hate this guy.
Where is your daughter,
I'm gonna just
Juliana?
pretend he doesn't
She was
exist in this
working the
conversation.
ExoGeni building when the attacks came.
Oh, yeah, there were several places she could hide. For a short time.
And how long do you think you'll be able to hide down here? With my Mako parked out front. Maybe you should shut up and let me just progress this conversation.
If she's in there, I'll get her out.
Thank you, Commander. Thank you.
Do you know what the Geth are after?
I have no idea. We certainly haven't found anything of use. Something ExoGeni is keen to remind us of.
We need to recoup our expenses. It's nothing personal.
Right, nothing personal. There's people dying all over this planet while you hide in your little room here with your toy soldiers, but it's nothing personal. Wouldn't want to waste time poking around, right?
Tell me about the colony.
We established ourselves here 4 years ago. Growth was steady until the attacks. Our biggest challenge has been the lack of resources. There's just so little here of value. Still, we were making a go of it. It was even starting to feel like home.
Being little things of value here is kind of hard to believe, considering this is an old Prothean planet.
What brought you here?
I guess I thought this would be the start of a new life. I wanted to go where I could feel like I was making a difference. Instead, everything we built is destroyed. It's very hard not to lose hope.
Where is your daughter, Juliana?
Somewhere at the ExoGeni headquarters, I hope.
How did you get split up from the Zeus Hope colony?
Most of us lived closer to the ExoGeni building. Zeus Hope was mostly used as a port. When the Geth hit, we scattered. Until you told us about the others, we assumed they were killed in the first wave.
Thanks to him.
If we had known they were still alive, we might have attempted to join them.
Let's see how Jong feels about this suggestion.
They're fairly secure now. Maybe you should do that.
No. I don't think that's a good idea. We have no vehicles, and the Skyway offers little protection.
Like the building we're in now?
Listen, our best hope is to
Cornered like rats in a trap down here.
Reinforcements. Come eventually.
If the Geth decided to come down this hallway, you'd all be cooked pretty quick. I doubt those toy soldiers for ExoGeni back there are very capable.
What was the building used for?
Oh, yeah, we repurposed that structure to serve as headquarters for ExoGeni. That's mostly offices with a number of light-duty R&D labs.
Research and development lab,
ExoGeni's
so.
a master at repurposing anything and everything.
And anyone,
It
apparently.
has to make a profit somehow, Juliana. Feros is a long way from self-sufficient.
So that last part, I do want to say that that last part is kind of fair, right? They are bankrolling this colony to make a profit, but there's
Please remember, if you see my daughter,
a certain value system that you have to apply here, and applying more value to shitty little dusted relics versus the people you're helping to build a life here is a problem for me. But
Please
corporations,
keep
I guess.
your fire to a minimum when you go to the ExoGeni building. We want to minimize damage.
This guy can kiss
and
my
I must
ass.
inform you that the company will not be responsible for any injuries you sustain while in our facility.
You have an extra chromosome, don't you?
You're not much of a people person, are you?
I like people. I just like them more when they're helping ExoGeni profit. Someone needs to worry about the bottom line. I'm the only one left.
And I guess that's your whole personality boiled down into a sentence.
Tell me about ExoGeni.
He's
Please.
made his whole life ExoGeni Corp.
Is the premier engine of colonization in the new multi-system economy. And in conjunction with our core interests, exploration provides a broad investment base for shareholders.
What are the company's core interests?
ExoGeni has a number of subsidiary companies in many different fields. The most profitable adapt alien technologies. There are many other industrial branches, but they aren't really relevant to Pharos.
Interesting. So they just come here and leech everything and use the people as a back burner to have an excuse to be here leeching. They don't really give a shit about the colonies at all. In fact, most of their point is not even for the colonization effort. It's to funnel things back into the other shareholder groups to sell or repurpose or research and development, things like that. It's not even about the colonists. Just a byproduct.
Tell me about yourself, Jean.
Me? Yeah, I was sent here to do some routine estimations of the potential return on investment. The attack was certainly a surprise to me. I've been trapped here ever since. Can't wait for the Home Office to get me off this rock.
You'll notice that these people don't exactly seem to have the same kind of cult twist to them that the people at Zoo's Hope have, right? They're openly answering questions. They clearly have their own personalities. They don't have that quiet, 1,000-yard stare kind of tone to their face or their dialogue either.
Do you have any idea why the Geth attacked you?
None. We're scrambling to find anything of value. There's nothing here to warrant an invasion. There's barely enough here to warrant a colony.
But when we ask everybody at Zoo's Hope, they talk about how good the colony is, about how it's their home, about how it needs to work.
Go to headquarters. We don't want any unnecessary damage to the facility.
The facility can kiss my ass, Zhong. If I have to nuke it, I'll nuke it.
We ran when the attack hit.
Yeah, these people are all very well put together in terms of how we look to everybody else in Zoo's Hope. This maybe will open some
I
eyes.
hope you can get us out of this mess.
I guess not. But these people definitely aren't affected by whatever's affecting Zoo's Hope. What about the soldiers?
These people had their shot. That's more than some get.
An interesting way to look at it.
Weeks, none of the colonists will remember this planet even exists.
Oh, so you all just want to get the hell out of here, huh?
The frontier is a lot more dangerous than most people realize.
What about you, Gavin?
I was hoping you'd have a moment to speak with me. I've got a bit of a problem.
What do you need?
I need to retrieve some data. It's not a big job, but it pays well.
Sounds easy enough. What's the catch?
No catch, really. It's dangerous work, but not for someone like you.
What is it about you that makes people assume we enjoy being in harm's way?
It's not that bad.
Well, if we're going there anyway, Tally, we may as well make some side money.
Console at ExoGeni headquarters and drop the data onto this OSD. It's that simple.
We might be able to do that. What's in the OSD?
I'll look around if I get the chance.
I appreciate it. That data could be worth a lot of money. Of course, this all depends on getting out of here alive.
Tell me about the data I'm getting for you.
Plans for a few prototype mods. I'm a freelancer. Some of my mods are highly sought after.
Why work in the middle of nowhere if your skills are so useful?
Maybe I've got a bit of the frontier spirit in me. That, and the alternative is a bit too secure for my liking.
Don't feel like being in a dingy R&D basement, do you?
Security as much, so long as we keep a low profile.
Yeah, I imagine ExoGeni, based on the way they look at people as human resources, they'd probably be stuffed in a cubicle in a basement 2,000 feet underground.
Do you have any idea what the Geth were looking for?
That's for smarter men than me to figure out. I have no idea what anyone would want with this ruin.
Time to
You
get...
know,
Just keep
that makes him seem like kind of like a pawn, but to a certain degree, I can kind of respect somebody knowing their place in the world, right? It's kind of like when you ask somebody something and they're like, that's just above my pay grade. I worry about what I can worry about. Something that I respect about that. The fact that he's just like, that's for people much more intelligent than me. I kind of respect that. let's head on up this Skyway. I guess we're gonna get to the bottom of what's going on here, whether they like it or not, since we're checking out ExoGeni headquarters. I am quite eager to learn what the hell they're doing here, but I can't shoot that. Get rid of the armature first. More of those little streams here that we can head inside, so keep your eye open as we go along this Skyway.
Package is secured. We're leaving now.
But ExoGeni sent people up here. Weren't they just telling us how dangerous the Skyway is and that they can't move to Zeus Hope? But they sent people down here anyway, it looks like. Looking for something. Where's the one we missed? There you are. You know what? What if you didn't hide behind that box? That's where we would have left. Keep an eye on those little side paths. One of them is going to be open.
Shut down the comm. We've got incoming Geth. Damn it! Shut down the comm.
Take care of him before I head inside. And here's the men we just heard on the radio. They obviously got caught out. Radio chatter attracted the Geth. Like I said, ExoGeni definitely have their opinions about people and how expendable they are as long as it's for the bottom line of profits. They probably sent them up to this Skyway to recover some kind of equipment that they didn't want to be damaged, and then, well, that's what ends up happening. Died for it. They don't even look well prepared at all. It's not even a soldier. They just sent, well, he almost looks like a public worker. He looks like he should be working on plumbing or some kind of electrics. He's not even wearing armor. Sent him down here to die. Ironically too, fun fact about this, going back to the original version of Mass Effect, because of the lion sources and the way they worked in the original game, this tunnel is just dark as shit. And this little entryway here was pitch black, so I've actually gone turned around in there and stuck in there too. I just couldn't find the way. I had to just hug the wall and like hold forward until I snuck out of the entrance. Get rid of these Geth before we roll too far up. It's a little sketchy doing what I'm doing with the zoom in on the Skyway, because you can totally just ride right off the edge there, so be a little cautious with that while you're strafing around. That's why on the first part of the sky bridge I was kind of just eating the shots and dealing with it. They have the firepower to hurt the Mako, but they don't have the firepower to kill it, so. However, the Mako does not have the ability to fall from this high of a distance. We might have this little jump jet, but I promise you it doesn't fly like that. Goodies hanging around anyway, yeah. Doesn't look like it. End of the line for the Mako, but that doesn't mean we have to go in there and fight these people on foot.
Resistance will be extremely heavy once we are inside.
Not heavy enough. Take out what I can before we roll in on foot.
I think we're done here.
You think? Yeah, I'd say the Geth up there turning into a pile of ash after the Mako shows. Pretty good sign of that. Man, this place is wrecked. Jong is gonna be having a fucking panic attack when he sees this. Here's this door with easy encryption, and if you remember a couple episodes ago, I told you I was gonna show you what Liara is capable of when you level her abilities up, and inside this room is where you're actually gonna get to see that. That's why I wanted to make sure her stuff was high enough level when we came in here, because I get to show you something pretty cool here. We are gonna save up just in case it doesn't work while I try and showcase this, but if you're wondering about the capabilities of biotics, you're about to see it very clearly with this. Just how strong biotics can be. Alright, check this out. You can hoist a land tank off its feet. Isn't that insane? Singularity won't lift it, but it will disable it, so he's just gonna sit there. enough to get it dead at least. You can totally toss him too, I think. But we'll kill it before it gets that second shot off. But yeah, imagine having the ability in your genetics to lift something that weighs like 2,000 tons or however much this thing would weigh. Liara is no joke once you level her up. The fact that you can just float land tanks and just deal with them however you please, as you please, is insane to me. That is why Liara is my mainstay. Well, we're not going down there. This door is barriered, so we won't be passing here either. See if we get any dialogue about this.
Our weapons cannot touch a field like this. We'll need another way in.
Yeah, there's one on the other side too that's matching. Well, our other way in, luckily for us, is right down here with this broken sideway.
Down, Commander Shepard.
You said that the one-way trip, but if we're being honest, we could totally climb back up there, right? If the game had the ability to climb, we could climb back up. It's ominous.
Damn it! I'm so sorry. I thought you were Geth, or one of those Varen.
So you shoot at humans? Do I look like a Varen?
You're safe now. But why were you here in the first place?
It's my own fault. Everyone else was running, and I stayed to back up data. Next thing I knew, the Geth ship latched on, and the power went out. I was trapped. I tried to get out, but the way was blocked.
Well, if you look at her name in the subtitles, this is the lady's daughter that's down there with ExoGeni.
We'll get you out, as soon as we find out what the Geth are after.
It's not the Geth, it's the energy field they put up. They don't want anyone else getting access to the...
To the what?
I'm here for the Geth. It's very important I find out what they're after.
I don't know for certain, but I'm guessing they're here for the Thorian.
Thorian? What is that exactly?
It's an indigenous life form. ExoGeni was studying it.
Interesting. And the Thorian sounds quite like what Ian Newstead was trying to tell us about, right? When he said ask Phi Dan about the, and then he got cut off by pain. I imagine what he was trying to say there is the Thorian.
What else can you tell me? Do you know where I can find this Thorian?
I might be able to, but not with those Geth crawling around everywhere. Look, we need to get out of here, past that field.
Relay. Because it looks like we have a quiet moment right now. I think you'd be able to tell me as much as you please about the Thorian. You wouldn't still be trying to cover company secrets, would you?
Do you know how we can shut it down?
No, not exactly. But I think the Geth ship is powering it. I've noticed the Geth laying power cables everywhere. You could follow those cables, but there's Geth all over the place.
Tell me about yourself.
I'm just a research assistant for ExoGeni. I came here with my mother. I don't even know if she made it out alive.
She's with some others from the colony. She's safe for now.
She's alive? Oh, thank God. I thought I was the only one left. Please.
They thought you were dead.
Get that field down so I can see my mother again.
Tell me what you know about the Thorian.
I really don't know that much about it. I think it's some kind of plant being.
I don't believe
I know
you.
it's very old. Thousands of years even.
You stayed here to back up data. You definitely know more than that.
Why do you think the Geth would be interested in the Thorian?
It's just a plant. I don't know why the Geth would care.
I don't buy it.
ExoGeni was studying it, but I don't think they found anything special.
I definitely don't buy that. The way the colony is segregated, the way they don't care about it, the way they're talking about profits having to be calculated and they need a return on investment, and then they leave the colony down there to die. They don't try to evac them or try to go to them. And then this girl now is telling us that it's just a plan. There's nothing to this. I don't buy it.
You stay put. I'll go open some doors.
Oh, here, take my ID. This should get you past any locked doors. Good luck with that field.
Hello, Varen. Okay, how about you all go for a fly? You can totally punch Varen. The only thing you can't punch here is really big enemies like armatures, Krogan, things like that.
As soon as you go, I'm gonna find a place to hide.
Okay.
You stay put.
You do that.
I'll go open some doors.
Because you're going to answer some questions when we pulled your ass out of the fire. Because I don't buy that whole, I don't know nothing about this thing. Doesn't add up. Especially not when she's here backing up data. She obviously knows everything about the colony if she knows enough to back up the data, right? It would just make sense. How could she know what to keep, what not to keep, what to preserve if she didn't have any idea what was going on? Wouldn't make sense. That won't be the last time we chit-chat to Lizbeth. And if she won't tell me, maybe her mother will when she feels indebted to me.
Access encrypted files.
This Krogan is so relatable in so many ways.
No, I don't want to review protocol.
I am unable to comply. Please contact your supervisor.
Damn it! Tell me what I want or I'll blast your virtual ass into actual dust!
Please contact your supervisor for a level 4.
Me for real when my PC lags.
Stupid machine!
If there is nothing else, please step aside. There is a queue forming behind you for...
Oh, thanks, buddy. And thanks for ratting me out. Yeah, relatable, man. Like I said, every time a piece of technology doesn't work, that's me for real. That shit makes me angry. Anyway, that's gonna be the end of him.
ExoGeni Corporation reminds all staff that the discharging of weapons while on company property is strictly forbidden.
Maybe I should have let him smash you into actual dust.
What can I do for you?
How do you know I'm Lizbeth?
Your access card identifies you as Elizabeth Bainham. Is there something you require, Dr. Bainham?
Well, since you are confused, this is why we know this one is an actual VI and not an AI, because it's literally looking at us and it doesn't know we're not Lizbeth because of the ID card, so... Since we have such a glowing opportunity to dig into this, let's question the hell out of this VI.
What information was the last user attempting to access?
Fetching data. The previous user was attempting to access details on the study of subject species 37, the Thorian.
Tell me everything you told the Krogan.
I was unable to provide the previous user with any relevant data. Aside from lacking proper access, there has been no new data available on species 37. All sensors monitoring the observation post at Zoo's Hope have been inactive for several cycles.
What does Zoo's Hope have to do with the Thorian?
Species 37 is located within the substructure of the Zoo's Hope outpost.
So we're already getting a little bit of a hint about why they're so isolated. The species 37 Thorian is literally under the colony, so they put all those people there. And you'll notice he said that they're running a study on species 37, and they have, what did he say? He said something was offline, right? The probes that monitor the whole thing, the monitoring probes, were down for several cycles. So they've been monitoring cycles and the effects of whatever's going on there at Zoo's Hope, and they put those people there on purpose, which is the reason why Jung doesn't want to go down there to get them, and doesn't want to bring them back up here, because there's something going on there.
Tell me everything you know about the Thorian.
The Thorian is a simple plant life form that exhibits a sentient behavior uncommon with other flora. Through dispersion and the eventual inhalation of spores, it can affect and control other organisms, including humans. The Zoo's Hope control group has yielded interesting results.
There it is.
Before sensors went offline, almost 85% of all test subjects were infected.
Control group. So they put them there on purpose to study the results of the mind control the Thorian has, to see if they can weaponize it or use it as something to sell to their shareholders as a bioweapon. They just fed those people to the meat grinder. And that would also be why the Solarian merchant and his crew have decided to stick around. They literally can't leave because they're being controlled by the Thorian. It's manipulating their minds to have them tend to its needs. And ExoGeni knows about this, and I believe Lizbeth and her mother also know about this, and they're just choosing not to tell me about it.
Are you saying ExoGeni knew its people were getting infected?
It was deemed necessary to assess the true potential of species 37.
Necessary.
That explains their strange behavior.
Your pilot should be warned.
That's 300 lives, by the way. There's 300 colonists at Zoo's Hope, in particular. That's the number of 300. And they're just feeding them all into the meat grinder to see what happens. They don't even know. They could become mutated plant zombies. They could all just eventually go insane and kill each other. But it is what it is, right? Run a test subject. We gotta see if we can sell it back to our shareholders. And this also ties into a bunch of other stuff too. So you remember when Caden was talking about kinetics and those intentional exposures to EXO, where they were detonating drives over settlements and then showing up the next day, hauling you off to a facility? This is another big point towards that probably being the case, right? If ExoGeni is willing to do things like this to make money and get ahead and get profits, then why wouldn't other companies too? ExoGeni wasn't the one that was involved with the whole kinetics situation. I think that was probably Kinetics and Cerberus working together to do that. or some kind of subsidiary kind of thing, because I'm sure Cerberus makes its money, and Cerberus being so interested in humanity's advancement, I'm sure they pay that good money to get human biotics up and going and run tests like that, which we know they do too when they ran an experiment with the Thresher Moors with Corporal Toombs' unit. So all the companies in this game are all doing messed up shit, and Cerberus has a hand in anything to do with humanity, so I'm sure they're funding ExoGeni somewhere down that back chain, and I'm sure they have very, very, very high interest in something like this with mind control.
Joker. Come in, Joker. Damn it, that field's blocking us.
We must find a way around the field. We must get back to Zoo's Hope.
Yeah, we need to tell Joker to keep the airlock nice and sealed there so he doesn't get infected while he's sitting down there waiting for us, and I guess we just got lucky. We didn't spend enough time there to get infected by this.
BI, what can you tell me about the Geth ship and the field it's generating?
I have limited data on the Geth. They have effectively blocked all sensors within the facility. I have detected unusual power fluctuations, but am unable to determine the source.
What do you know about the Geth?
I have no specifics on the Geth as they relate to this facility. All sensors have been purposely decommissioned since their arrival.
Purposefully decommissioned.
I want to know about ExoGeni Corporation.
ExoGeni Corporation is at the forefront of human expansion in the new galactic economy, funding colonial development and securing resource rights to ensure our progress as a species. Further inquiries regarding company policy may be directed to Consumer Information Services during regular business hours.
And using their R&D labs to run experiments on anything they find too, and I'm sure the colonists had to sign some kind of waiver when they did all this to make sure that if they did happen to die on any kind of experiments, that they'd have no legal recourse for their families or anything like that. I'm sure they had to sign their life away pretty much to come on this expedition in the first place.
Who's in charge here? Who organized the research?
All decisions about local resource analysis and acquisition are made by on-site management, deferring to the board of directors only when seasonal quotas are missed or exceeded. Individual employee records are confidential.
So on-site management right now would be Jiang, but he said he hasn't been here that long, he just came to make an assessment. So I guess it would be Lizbeth's mother, perhaps, who was in charge before that. It would be one of the head scientists, unless whoever was in charge and would be left holding the bag for this. Maybe they're already dead. Maybe the Geth already took care of that for us.
Tell me about the thorium.
Species 37 was discovered several weeks ago when a small team was infected with spores while examining ruins near the Zoo's Hope outpost. The outpost was quarantined immediately, and study of the infection began. Within 21 days, 58% of colonists exhibited altered behavior. Within 28 days, 85%.
What's the size of this thing?
The Thorian appears to be a diffused creature. Its cognitive abilities are centered in large nerve bundles, but it receives data from kilometers of meandering tendrils. We have discovered bundles
kilometers of tendrils is insane.
But these seem insufficient to coordinate the massive sensory potential it possesses. It may simply process such stimulation slowly, or perhaps there is a nerve cluster of a greater magnitude we have not yet encountered.
So this thing probably has tendrils running under the surface of most of this planet, right? If they go for kilometers, it's probably covering such huge surface areas where it can infect with these spores. It could have the entire planet on its knees if it ever was populated. And they're playing games with this thing.
Is it intelligent? Can I reason with it?
The Thorian does not exhibit the focused behavior of a predator. The release of spores is an act of survival, not aggression. It does trigger advanced behaviors in the humans it enslaves, but we have yet to discover whether it recognizes or is capable of recognizing humans as more than tools. It is sufficiently alien as to defy classification at this time.
And there it is. The VI said it best. The subjects it enslaves. So ExoGeni is co-signing slavery here. They know that it enslaves people and that they just co-signed it. They're okay with that. So ExoGeni is a slaver company, or at least as a matter of moral principle, they're a slaver company because they have no remorse about it at all.
Do you know how the creature controls its slaves?
The will subversion manifests as intense pain if directives are ignored. The effect is severe enough that subjects are soon conditioned against even minor thoughts of rebellion.
That tracks very well with what we saw with Ian.
Use its thralls in a utilitarian way. Care is apparently taken to avoid injuring them, much as a craftsman avoids damaging his tools. As long as no action is taken against the creature's objectives, the subjects are free to pantomime a normal existence until specifically tasked with something.
Oh, good. So they get to be regular humans until they need to water the plant.
Where's the center of this thing?
The Thorian is present as a weave of tendrils across much of the lower surface of Pharos. Observation of enslaved subjects suggests there may be key clusters that are tended by thralls. Unfortunately, direct observation of species 37 is limited, or non-existent.
Yeah, so you already know my opinion on ExoGeni based on this conversation. I'm sure you know how I feel about this.
Please access my personal files.
Elizabeth Bainham, Research Assistant, Biomedical Division. Security Level 4 exemption.
Level 4,
You are
huh?
currently under probation due to disagreements with management over established company policy. These sanctions may be lifted if your next evaluation is more agreeable.
What triggered the probation?
You were marked as combative about the operations of the Zoo's Hope project, specifically regarding the handling of the infected colonists. As a result, you were tasked with monitoring the safety of the colonists for the duration of the observation.
Okay, so at least she fought against this, right?
Going to standby mode.
She told the big talking heads in the expensive suits drinking fancy water. She told them she didn't like this and they should stop, and so they reprimanded her, threatened to fire her, and put her in charge of their safety. They basically said, well, if you care about it so much, why don't you go take care of them? But don't talk too loud or you might become one of them, I'm sure was the upshot of that. But at least she did try to resist. At least she knows what's wrong. And so these Geth here look like they were praying. They were literally on their hands and knees bowing to this thing. And we saw one of these already.
Use these claws to anchor their ships to the
It's not the first time we've seen one of these altars. If you remember when we found those, the mining ship, the entire staff of the mining ship was missing, and we found them in a mining tunnel, all turned to mindless husks around this altar. This is the second or third time we found one of these. And remember I said that they'd look like they had turned those people into husks and then taken them to the altar as an offering to the, well, what they consider gods, right? Which would be the Reapers as far as they're concerned. And this goes to show a long way for that, actually, because we literally just saw them worshipping, which is very out of character for the Geth. The Geth aren't organic, keep in mind, they're a machine. So they wouldn't believe in a god. If anything would be the machine's god, it would be the machine's creator, right? Which would be humanity, or in the Geth case, the Quarians. So the fact that they are adopting a worship and a religion is quite concerning for non-organic.
This structure seems to have significance for the Geth. Is it possible they set up this room to serve as a sacred temple of sorts?
The Geth blur the line between organic and synthetic life. It's natural to assume they seek understanding from a higher power.
They might blur the line, but they're not actually organic. They're not actually alive. They're just learning how to better imitate. It's an evolving mind, right? They have a CPU which knows how to imitate life and gives directives accordingly. It's not actual life. But the fact that they're worshipping, I mean, it definitely proves my point for the miners right there, that they were delivered up as a sacrifice. Paying homage to the Reapers. Look what I got for you. I got you a whole bunch of new people to worship you too.
All clear.
So did we see... Let me go back for just 1 second. Did we see anything in that room? No, I don't think we did, actually. I don't need to go back. I was going to say, did we actually see a Geth arm in there? But I don't think we did. There are two places we can go. We can go left and right. Down is going to be a bust, but we can go up. Remember that we have the left and right paths to go too, because we got to get Gavin Hossel's disc while we're in here. Try not to forget about that. Wouldn't be the first time I have, but try and keep my mind right. Okay, let's set the deck, Shepard. Pop that off. Use singularity. I'm gonna overload. Where's the hoppy little bastard? Did I manage to hit him with the... Where are you? Okay, they're on the other side. There's a couple terminals in here that are going to be important to make sure we take care of. Here's the first ExoGeni terminal. Confidential. The test samples were due to arrive 3 days ago, but we haven't heard anything from the colony or the cargo vessel. We suspect the samples became volatile and recommended cutting off all further contact with the Nodacrux colony. Even if the colony is discovered, no one should be able to trace the events there back to us. So this is a name drop for Nodacrux, and we are going to keep a big old eye out for anything to do with Nodacrux, because that's something directly tied to the Thorian, and if they're somehow spreading the Thorian across the galaxy, that needs to be addressed immediately, because that's going to end up an entire star systems being enslaved if we don't check that.
Let's keep looking.
We might not have the ordnance, but something tells me that this place is very important for it, given that the Geth are holding onto it so tightly. Where's the hopper? There you are. You're gonna stop. Oh, my entire teammate structure can just miss. That works too, I guess. There we go. Alright, you do that, and I'll do this. Since we're overheated for a second, we'll toss you back. Business, I'm finishing all these people off.
This is interesting, Commander Shepard.
So Tally just pointed out that this is a containment lab, so there might be some very valuable information here for us about what the hell's going on up here. Make that through right there. Check out these terminals. Here's a server node, so we should be able to get some information from this. It's tied directly into ExoGeni servers. Private log of Dr. Gamol. I don't trust this Cerberus group. They may pay us well, but if this gets out before we've developed an antidote, it's just not smart. They won't tell us what they want the samples for, or why they want them delivered to their Metano system. My records show nothing of interest out there. But that's Metano and Nodacrux. We have two things now, and that directly ties Cerberus, like I was saying about Cerberus interests, about how they'd definitely be interested in this. There's the proof in the pudding right there. They are completely invested in this place. They had secret doctors feeding them samples, information from here the whole time. And I'm sure this is not even scratching the surface of the kind of things that Cerberus do that for. You remember how I said that that doctor that was messing with Toombs in his group wouldn't make it to trial because Cerberus would just kill him before he got a chance to testify? Stuff like this is what I meant. This is a top secret facility for ExoGeni where they care all about their profits and all that stuff. But I'm sure Cerberus is one of their main funders, right? Those shareholders that ExoGeni is trying to get results for is almost certainly Cerberus, or at least part of it, right? I'm sure there are other factions invested in this too, but Cerberus definitely has a piece of the pie for this. And we don't know much about Cerberus yet, outside of what they did to Corporal Toombs, but would you really want a faction that is willing to do that to Toombs and his men with the Threshamore acid in their veins and feeding soldiers to Threshamores just to see how they act in battle? Do you really want an organization like that to have accessed samples of something that can enslave people? What do you think they would do with that? So you find a repair ticket attached to the console. The damn door to the shuttle bay is fried again. Works fine if the PSI is 30 or lower, and the safety shutoff kicks in if the PSI gets above 34. But if the PSI is in the 31 to 34 zone, that door slams down with enough power to shear through a metal I-beam. Somebody fix this before one of my team loses an arm in that thing. So we gotta get it between 31 and 34. That's 13. That's too high. Messed that up a little. I didn't see that was 17. I thought it was 7. We'll start with 17. Then we'll go 7. And then we'll go... So let's take the 7 off, and then we'll try 11. There we go. And now we'll chop that damn Geth arm off. Bye-bye. The Geth ships always remind me of, like, cockroaches. They look like giant flying cockroaches to me. Insectoid. And that ship did not survive that. That's a very big fall.
Very good. The field barring the exit will be down. Now we can go deal with the Thorian creature. I hope that ship was full of those Geth bastards.
Let him know, Tally.
I repeat, Normandy to shore party. Are you reading?
We
Anyone
finally
there?
give Joker's heads up too.
Normandy to shore party. Come on, Commander. Talk to me.
Is that you, Joker? What's going on over there?
We're in lockdown here, Commander. Something happened to the colonists. They're banging on the hull, trying to claw their way inside the ship. They're freaking out.
They can't do any real damage. We're on our way back. Just hold your position.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll just wait right here for you, Commander.
He's like, yeah, sure.
This place will be crawling with Geth in a minute. Keep together and we'll get out of here.
Yeah, they're gonna be pissed about that barricade. I wonder if Sarens' bitch ass is still here. That's the real interesting thing. Because he's definitely here in person. There's no way he wouldn't come collect this in person, right? Something so important. I mean, he went to Eden Prime by himself. He didn't just send the Geth to bring it back, so... I don't think he would trust this to the toy soldiers and tin cans. Let me try and go back the way that I came. Because we do still have to take that other side, too. We gotta get that OSD for Gavin. And then we're gonna have a... well, maybe polite, maybe not so polite chat with Lizbeth Bainham about the fact that she did lie to us and told us Thorian was just a plan that she knew nothing about. Because that was clearly horseshit. More Krogan. Let's do you and you and you. We got one at least. Before you start flying around doing whatever, we're gonna fly you again. He's actually stuck behind the... That's unfortunate. Okay, so ironically, I don't think they can get to me. I think we actually accidentally blocked off their path, so I think they're just cooked. Yeah, they can't get to me. That's what I was talking about the environment and how you can end up messing with this if you're not careful with the way you lift and throw things. Yeah, they're stuck. That worked out good. Although their Krogan immunity is keeping them alive way longer than I'd like them to. Die whenever you like, you know. Okay, let's do this. Let's float them all again. He's dead. Now we're gonna slide on through, and that is his data disk. After a few seconds of downloading, you secure Gavin Hustle's design data. Gladly take that, and we'll loot all this goodies. Nice and easy through that. Alright, let's get the hell out of here. And hopefully... yeah, I think I might be able to skirt around that. Yep, perfect. Not sure if the AI will be able to path that, but I can. That's the important part. They'll just catch up. They'll zip to me if they get stuck anyways. But now we can tell Lizbeth the good and bad news. Good news is we can leave. Bad news is I know you're full of it. And here she is waiting for us at the door.
We should get out of here. I don't think this place is safe.
I need some
I'm sure she wants to dip quite fast.
You knew more about the Thorian than you let on.
I was afraid. I wanted to stop the tests, but they threatened me. Told me I'd be next.
Hold that.
When the Geth attacked, I stayed behind to send a message to Colonial Affairs. I tried to tell them where to find the Thorian, but the power cut before I could send the message. I never meant for this to happen.
Okay, so I'm actually totally fine with Lizbeth now. I know she resisted. They threatened her against her own life, and she still went against that and tried to report them to Colonial Affairs. Like, she could have quite easily been next on the chopping block, infected with all this Thorian shit, and she still didn't care. She still tried to report it. That clears Lizbeth for me. Like, she didn't know what she was signing up for when she came here. Once she found out, she tried to stop it through the correct channels, couldn't do that, so then she tried to stop it through backroom channels, even under threat of her own life, and she still tried. So, you're cool with me. You're completely cleared.
You did what you could. I'll help them, if you can tell me where to find the Thorian.
The Thorian is underneath Zoo's Hope, but the entrance is blocked. The colonists covered it with the freighter just before the Geth attacked.
And that is why that woman was being weird about the crane freight that we were looking at as we came in. She wouldn't let us mess with the console or tell us what she was doing because she was putting that down on top of the Thorian. It's right underneath them. We were on top of it the whole time.
But why are the Geth after the thorium? What could Saren want with it?
Well, it does have unique mind control capabilities. That's what ExoGeni was interested in.
Normandy to shore party,
Yeah,
come
I
in.
bet they were. I bet they'd like to use that on all kinds of people and other galactic species.
What is it, Joker?
We're getting a lot of Geth comm chatter. Looks like they're headed your way.
Thanks for the heads up.
Joker. You heard the man. Let's move out.
I'm coming with you. I might be able to help. Undo the mess I helped create.
Yeah, like I said, she's a good person. She wants to come put her life at risk with us to try and fix this. And she put her life at risk multiple times to go against the company to try and get those people the freedom they deserve. So she's aces with me. And honestly, if I had it my way, I would take that right to the top immediately after this mission. Once I figured out what was going on here, I'm going straight to the council. I'm going straight to Anderson, Admiral Hackett even. I'm telling everybody about this that'll listen. I would bring this shit down instantly if I could. Unfortunately, the game isn't going to let us report on them and tell everybody about their misdeeds. And shit, if all those people refuse to help, you know what I might do? I might just go contact Emily Wong, give her the lowdown on all that, see how she can handle it. So now that we finally have this, we're going to sink the combat scanner in. Do I have a better heat sink? Because that heat sink is only a level 3, which is why we're having such overheating issues. That's just stability. I'm interested in a rail extension. Tungsten rounds VI. Polonium, shredder. Here's the next level of tungsten rounds, so we'll slot in the more effective one. Let's see. Is this a automatic? Always pulls out the snipe when I switch my gun. It is an automatic. It has that soft firing rate too, so you see how long we can shoot without an overheat occurring. That's very good. That is a beautiful outcome for us. Alright everybody, this has been going for 47 minutes, so it's definitely time I split and wrap this one on up before we head back down and deal with the Thorian. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, leave a like and a comment. If you want to support the cause and help improve the channel, please do check out those links in the description below. Otherwise, stay tuned and I'll see you soon with more Mass Effect. Take care everybody, have a great day. Peace.